You know, there are some pieces of advice for learning Spanish that I just really don't like. And one of them is moving to a Spanish-speaking country to learn Spanish. Although I do believe that this works, and it does sound like a very amazing experience to be able to live in a Spanish-speaking country and maybe stay with the host family or be a part of some Spanish learning program, I think going this route for learning Spanish can exclude many people because this requires a decent amount of money, right? As well, another reason I don't really like the advice is because you can learn Spanish from your home. And actually, that is what I did. So I was able to become fluent become fluent in Spanish living in the United States. I've never lived in a Spanish-speaking country. I think the total amount of time that I've spent in Spanish-speaking countries is less than 30 days. I truly believe that anybody can learn Spanish without having to live in a Spanish-speaking country, especially in 2024, because there are a crazy amount of resources that we have available to us online. If you just have a computer, or you have a phone, there are so many resources that we can access, from YouTube to different applications like Duolingo or HelloTalk and many other language learning applications. And of course, we have different textbooks, dictionaries, grammar textbooks, and so on and so forth. And we don't just have many resources that are available to us to learn Spanish, but we have many different methods for learning Spanish. Taking breaks. I really don't think that Spanish learners should be taking days off from learning Spanish. And one big reason for this is because I think sometimes when we think about taking breaks, we may think that we need to take a break from learning Spanish is because of how demanding the process is, right, of learning a language. We may be very tired and maybe we're not just feeling it one day, but I think that has a lot to do with how you are studying. Hold on, let me back up a little bit. So learning Spanish will be tiring some days, especially if you are a beginner Spanish learner. So you'll have some days where you are pretty tired and maybe your head is tight, but that is quite normal because your brain is trying to process a lot of new information. Over time, that will reduce, I would say. Now, there's a difference between that and just pushing yourself way too hard. So, for example, a few years ago, I felt like I wasn't making much progress. So to counter this lack of progress, what I did was increase the amount that I was studying. So I would study for longer and study more. And this got me really, really tired. And I ended up getting really exhausted and I burnt out. Then I really had no motivation to learn Spanish. There's a big difference right there, is the way that I was studying. I wasn't studying effectively. That was not a very healthy approach to learning Spanish. I was just trying to force the language into my mind. So instead of taking days off from learning Spanish, what you could do is reduce the amount that you are studying, or maybe you need to change up your studying resources. So instead of just studying for 1 hour, maybe that's just too much for you, depending on what level that you're at. You may need to study for just 30 minutes or maybe 15 minutes one day. Another reason I don't believe that a Spanish learner should be taking breaks from learning Spanish is because for me, learning Spanish is a part of my life. So it's not just something I'm going to do sometimes, but I feel that I should be doing it every single day. I think it would be very challenging to get to this point where learning Spanish is a part of your life if you're just taking, days off and you're taking weeks off. Because as well, my perspective on having or learning Spanish and making that a part of my life is basically imagining myself as if I was a native Spanish speaker. So I'm always going to be speaking to myself in Spanish. I'm going to be thinking in Spanish throughout the day. I'm going to be listening to content in Spanish, so podcasts in Spanish, listening to music in Spanish, and then as well talking with natives in Spanish. Not speaking Spanish until you have a good understanding of Spanish grammar. The main reason why I don't like this piece of advice is because learning to speak Spanish and developing your communication skills in Spanish they are skills that you have to develop, and it's not like a light switch. For example, I study grammar, Spanish grammar. I'm memorizing all these grammar rules, every single day for a month or 2 months or weeks, whatever time frame that it may be. And then after all that studying, I can just start speaking fluently. It's not like that. It takes a lot of time, dedication, repetition, and learning from your mistakes. I like to compare the development of our Spanish speaking skills with learning to play an instrument like the piano. Let's say that you do not know how to play piano. So you're going to have to learn some notes. You're going to have to learn some chords. And then after that, you're going to have to learn how to actually use your fingers and play those notes and play those chords. If you are trying to play a song, there are specific notes and chords that you actually have to play, right? This may be very challenging to do at first. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to hit the wrong note. It's not going to sound very fluid, but maybe after a few weeks or even a few months of practicing and messing up over and over again, you will start to get the hang of it. So maybe you'll get the first quarter of the song and it actually sounds good. You're hitting all the notes properly. You're not making any mistakes. And then you master half of the song. And then eventually you can play the whole song without making any mistakes. Now with speaking Spanish, let's say that this week is my first week of learning Spanish. I only know 5 words, but I'm still going to try to put those 5 words in a sentence and do the best that I can. It may sound very broken, but that's fine because I am a complete beginner in this language. But guess what? The more that I learn about vocabulary and the more that I learn about pronunciation is going to get a lot smoother, and I'm going to be able to create sentences a lot easier and a lot faster. But again, that takes time, that takes dedication and practice. Maybe, one sentence like ¿Cómo estás? Or ¿Qué tal? I can only remember como and not estás, or I don't know how to say the last half of that phrase properly. But, let's say a few weeks down the line, I can say that very easily. Okay, ¿Cómo estás? Now, a few more weeks down the line, I can say, ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien. Yo tuve un excelente día. But again, it's this increase of your speaking skills over time. So it's very important that you're starting right from the beginning so you can develop these skills. For me, it's really about not having the perspective of I have to be perfect to speak Spanish or to have a conversation in Spanish. But I'm going to do the best with the words and the phrases that I have at this very moment. Even though it may sound very choppy, or I can't even say the sentence properly, or I'm missing words, or I don't know which words to say, that is perfectly fine. As well, I've learned after having many conversations with native Spanish speakers that I don't have to have a perfect sentence, or I don't even have to have half of a sentence correct sometimes for a native Spanish speaker to understand me. So a lot of times when I'm speaking to a Spanish speaker and I'm fumbling over my words, I'm not pronouncing things correctly, or maybe I can only remember half of a particular phrase and not the whole phrase, they still understand what I'm saying, or they will actually finish what I am saying. They ask me questions like, ¿Quieres decir eso, verdad? And they'll say some phrase, or they'll say a word or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to say. Sí, exactamente eso. Listening to comprehensible input. One big reason why I don't like this piece of advice is because if you are a beginner in the Spanish language, nothing is going to be comprehensible. So if a beginner Spanish learner is online and they are looking for resources to learn Spanish, right? And they see a YouTube video and this title is comprehensible input, but then they think to themselves, well, I don't really comprehend anything, so I can't listen to this content in Spanish. That is the exact perspective that I don't want you to have. I'm not a huge fan of this level-based studying. All right now I'm a beginner Spanish learner, so I won't listen to this comprehensible input, but maybe in 2 months or 3 months or 4 months of just studying, I'm going to listen to this comprehensible input. And this goes with having conversations in Spanish as well. So if I'm a beginner Spanish learner and I go to Mexico today, does that mean I'm not going to be a part of any conversations at all, or I'm not going to watch, a movie in Spanish while I'm there, or I'm not going to, be a part of any conversations in general while I'm there? I'm going to avoid them just because I can't comprehend anybody? No, I always advise that we put ourselves in these types of situations where we're able to have conversations in Spanish with native Spanish speakers, even if we can't understand them. This goes for watching movies and TV shows as well. I've read many comments where a Spanish learner is saying, okay, I can't understand any of the actors in this TV show, so I'm not going to watch it. Or I can't understand anything in this movie. I can only understand 5%, or I can't understand anything at all, so I'm just not going to watch it. I think many of us Spanish learners tend to equate incomprehensible with not learning anything. But you actually learn a lot even if the Spanish that you are listening to is not comprehensible. Because it's not just about understanding what words are being said, but how they are being said. What is the rhythm of this Spanish speaker's voice? what is, their cadence, what is the pitch of their voice, the tone of their voice. All those things contribute to the sound of the Spanish language. For example, I have been a part of many conversations in Spanish where I did not understand anything at all. But guess what? I was focusing on how they were saying the words. I was focusing very intently on how they sounded. This also helped me a lot when I went to the Dominican Republic for the first time, because I was never exposed to the Dominican accent, Dominican slang before I went there, right? So when I got there, I couldn't understand really anybody at all. So it was very frustrating for me, and I didn't like the fact that I could not understand many of the Dominicans that I was speaking to. But I didn't know actually that my brain was still processing how they sounded, because I was focusing on the sound because I couldn't understand what they were saying. So I had to focus on just, the way that the Dominicans spoke. Again, the rhythm, the pitch, the tone, the inflections, all that good stuff. So all those conversations that I had where I could not understand anything at all helped me out a lot, and they weren't useless like I thought that they were. And they actually helped me a lot to produce my Dominican accent, because now I had the understanding again of how Dominicans sounded. This incomprehensible input method has also helped me a lot to be able to distinguish between different accents of different Spanish-speaking countries. Because if you don't know yet, there are many different accents in the Spanish language. So now I'm able to really distinguish between different accents. I can distinguish between a Dominican accent versus a Mexican accent versus a Puerto Rican accent versus a Spanish accent, because they sound very distinct. But I have developed this ability over years, because when I first started to learn Spanish, I couldn't tell the difference between any of these accents at all. If you can't tell, I'm very passionate about this topic. I can rant about it all day, but I won't for the sake of this video. And I really want to get rid of the stigma around incomprehensible input, or the fact that, if I can't understand a native Spanish speaker, if I can't understand this content, that means I can't listen to it, I can't use it, and it's not useful, because it really is. If you are just starting to learn Spanish, you should choose a particular accent or a dialect of the Spanish language to focus on. I don't like this piece of advice because I think it puts way too much pressure on us Spanish learners, especially if we are just starting out, right? There's already so much that we have to learn about the language. We're trying to learn basic pronunciation. We're trying to learn the alphabet. We're trying to learn los vocales, so the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. We're trying to learn accent marks. So there's so much that we have to learn that is already challenging enough. We still have to learn basic vocabulary and simple sentence structure and grammar. Trying to figure out just how to create sentences is already pretty difficult. We don't have to learn all the slang and colloquialism of a particular Spanish-speaking country to be able to connect with the native Spanish speakers there and to be able to have conversations with them. As well, trying to develop an accent is very challenging. Just trying to pronounce words correctly and have a neutral accent in the Spanish language can be very challenging in itself. We do have many jokes and memes about the gringo accent for a reason. As well, I don't like this piece of advice because that is not how I started out my Spanish learning journey. So when I first started out, I was not focusing on a particular dialect or a particular accent. Again, I was just trying to focus on trying to understand simple grammar because I was so confused. I didn't know if what I was saying was ever correct. It was hard for me to pronounce words properly. I was very confused on the different rules of Spanish pronunciation in general as well. So there was just a lot of the foundational Spanish skills that I had to improve upon before I could really start to focus more on developing an accent and start to focus more on slang. All right, before you start to throw tomatoes at your cell phones and your computers or TVs, whatever you're watching this video on, I'm not trying to say that these pieces of advice are worthless, right? Or that you shouldn't follow them. The only thing that I really want you to get out of this video is that you don't have to think that there's only one specific way to learn the Spanish language. So you can, choose an accent right from the beginning if you want to. That's perfectly fine. That's all up to you, right? That all depends on what your Spanish learning goals are. But I don't want you to think that you have to choose an accent or that you have to move to a Spanish-speaking country or else you will not learn Spanish, or that you have to master Spanish grammar before you start speaking. But no, you can actually start to speak Spanish without having perfect grammar, without having to study hours and hours of Spanish grammar if you want to. I hope that you really enjoyed this video and that you feel less stressed. That is one big goal that I have for having this channel and making these videos, that you feel less stressed, that you feel more motivated to learn the Spanish language, and that you feel more prepared to learn this language overall. Let me know in the comment section below, what pieces of advice for learning Spanish do you think are not the best? Thank you very much for watching this video and for all of your support. Hasta pronto.